Hello everyone, welcome back to Linkside 201. Last time we talked about what syntactic knowledge is. This time we are going to argue for the internal structure inside a sentence. So beyond words and meaning, arguments for structure, there are some internal structure inside a sentence. Last time we didn't talk about what a sentence actually is. Here's a question. How would you define a sentence? To answer this question, we can consider the following strings. Which of the following are sentences for you? Okay, the first one, Ernie dreamed he gnashed on delicious treats. This is a grammatical English sentence, right? So you have a feeling for this sentence. You know it is good, right? Okay, the second one, gnashed on delicious treats. Ernie dreamed he did. This is kind of a strange tone. You have a strange color in this sentence. However, you know this sentence is grammatical as well, right? Okay, the third one, gnashed dreamed trees on did Ernie eat delicious. This is not a sentence. You have a feeling for this one, right? You know it does not make sense at all. You cannot understand what it is trying to express, right? Okay, the first one, uh, gnashed delicious treats, dreamed Ernie. This is a grammatical sentence as well. However, it is referring to an impossible scenario. You have to use your imagination to think about there are some specific trees who are able to dream about something, right? However, you know this sentence is grammatical as well. So this is a sentence as well. However, this is semantically ill-formed. Okay, the final one. Ernie dreamed he gnashed delicious trees. This is a grammatical sentence as well. So actually, sentences are defined by native speakers' intuition. As a native speaker of English, you know which strings are grammatical sentences and which strings are not. Okay, the formal definition of sentences will be given in the next lecture. Now we may think about another possibility. Maybe sentences are just the meaning of words inside a sentence combined together. So in other words, it's very similar to a mathematical formula. So for example, we have 2 and 3 inside a sentence. We just swap the order of 2 and 3, then we got 3 and 2. In mathematics, this is true, right? If we swap the order of the elements between a plus sign, beneath a plus sign, we got exactly the same thing. However, in language in the sentence, this is not the case. For example, we have this sentence, the whiskery marmot spied the water buffalo, a grammatical sentence. However, if we swap the water buffalo and the whiskery marmot, we have this one now. The water buffalo spied the whiskery marmot. We have a very different meaning, right? So this is not the right hypothesis. We cannot just simply combine the meaning of words inside a sentence. The order of the words matters, right? Okay. So this is the first piece of evidence that there are some internal structure inside a sentence. Otherwise, the word will not matter, right? Okay. Here's another piece of evidence for the internal structure inside a sentence. So we have this sentence now. The boy saw the man with binoculars. Okay. This sentence is ambiguous, which means that it has two meanings. So with binocular can modify saw. In this case, the scenario would be a boy holding the binoculars and he is looking at a man, right? Another scenario would be the boy saw a man who is holding the binoculars, right? So in this case, with binoculars can modify the man. So this is a difference in the sentence structure. In other words, a difference in what part of the sentence with binoculars is modifying. So with binoculars can goes with saw or goes with the man. Again, this is another piece of evidence showing that there are some internal structure inside a sentence. Okay, here is another evidence for the internal structure inside a sentence. When we try to derive a yes/no question, okay. So before that, we need to talk about yes/no questions in English. Yes/no questions in English are those that can be answered with either yes or no or maybe. For example, these sentences are yes/no questions. Did you see those woolly sheep? Did someone buy you lots of books? Sentences like this. And actually, these yes/no questions and these yes/no question sentences have a corresponding statement. Okay, for example, we have this one. Diane can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. Okay, we have a corresponding yes/no question as well, right? Can Diane go to see the new baby elephant at the zoo? Right? So now we are trying to derive the yes/no questions. We are trying to derive the yes/no question from a statement. Okay, and then we can find the internal structure inside a sentence. Okay. Now we can think about how we can do this. Okay, the first hypothesis would be we just move the second word of the statement to the first position, then we can get a yes/no question. So let's see how this hypothesis applies for this one, for this sentence. So we have the same sentence again. Diane can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo, right? And then we move the second word of the statement to the initial position, and we have this one. Can't Diane go see the new baby elephant at the zoo? Okay, for this case, our hypothesis works, right? However, this is not the end of story. Okay. Now, for example, if we try to apply the hypothesis on this sentence, it does not work. The dog can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. If we apply the first hypothesis, we have this string. We move the second word in the sentence into the initial position, and we have this dog that can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. This is not the correct form, right? So hypothesis 1, the first hypothesis cannot be right. Okay, let's try another hypothesis. Hypothesis number 2. Move the auxiliary verb to the front of the sentence. So, for example, we got the same sentence, same statement here, and we move the auxiliary verb to the front of the sentence. For this statement, it works, right? It correctly derived the yes/no question. Okay. And what about this one? Diane has been wanting to go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. Again, we move the auxiliary verb to the front of the sentence. And we got this. Has Diane been wanting to go see the new baby elephant at the zoo? Okay, in this case, it works as well. However, we can apply hypothesis 2 to this string again. We just need to move the auxiliary verb to the front of the sentences, right? Actually, there are 2 auxiliary verbs inside this statement. We have has and we have been as well. So let's try this one. We can move this auxiliary to the front as well. Ben Diane has wanting to go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. It doesn't work, right? This is not the correct form of a yes/no question. Okay, so hypothesis 2 is close, but we need to fix it so we can choose the right auxiliary. So we have 2 auxiliary here. We have to find out a way to find out the correct auxiliary to move. Okay. And then we have hypothesis 3. Maybe we need to, maybe the order matters. We need to move the first auxiliary verb instead of the second one, right? So let's try this one again. It works. Diane can't go see the baby elephant at the zoo, and here we only have 1 auxiliary, and we move and it works. Okay, and now the same case for the previous hypothesis. We have has, we have been, and then so this hypothesis says that we can only move the first one, and then it works, right? Because we can only move has. However, for this statement, the dog that is sitting here can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. Now we apply the same hypothesis, and then we move the first auxiliary. Here the first auxiliary is here is. Then we get this. Is the dog that's sitting here can't go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. It doesn't work this time. So hypothesis 3 does not really work. It means that, okay, why does hypothesis 3 fail? Now we move the first auxiliary, right? So the problem is that the first auxiliary is part of the subject of the sentence. So the dog that is sitting here, the whole thing is the subject. And then, because we are talking about the subject, this is a subunit inside a sentence, which means that a sentence has an internal structure. It's just not a sentence has more than word order. It has its internal structure as well. This is why we cannot simply say we just move the first auxiliary, right? So we reached the final hypothesis. We move the first auxiliary after the subject to the front of the sentence. So first we have to find out what the subject is, and in this case, the dog that is sitting here is the subject. And then the first auxiliary after the subject is can't. So we move can't to the initial position of the sentence. Then we have can't, the dog that is sitting here. Go see the new baby elephant at the zoo. Now it works. Now is the summary. So we know there are some internal structures inside a sentence. It is not just linear order of words, right? So from this and previous examples, it seems clear that the meaning of a sentence is not equal to the combined meaning of the words inside a sentence. Here's another example: man bites dog versus dog bites man. Two different meanings, right? And there is specific internal structure to each sentence that force certain kinds of interpretations. Remember the boy saw the man with the binoculars, right? It depends on which constituent the binoculars goes with. Then we have two different meanings. And also if there is no sentence internal structures, then the yes/no questions would be much more easier, right? So when we try to derive the yes/no questions, we have to use the notion of subject, which is an embedded structure inside a sentence. So we need to know what words are in the subject and what words are not. Now this is a clear example that there must be some internal structure inside a sentence. Okay. This is the end of this lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to have some formal rules to describe the internal structure of a sentence. And remember to do the in-class exercise as well. Thank you. See you next time.